He laughed when I asked him to do it. A retired carpenter. 71 years old. Big hands, broad shoulders, the kind of man who built things with his own body for 50 years. He sat across from me in my exam room and laughed when I told him I wanted him to stand up from the chair 5 times in a row without using his hands. "Doc," he said, "I built houses for a living. I think I can stand up from a chair." 30 seconds later, the laughing was gone. I am Dr. Cecilia Grant. In 20 years of treating sarcopenia, certain patients stay with you forever. This is one of them. Because what happened in those 30 seconds in a quiet exam room on an ordinary Tuesday afternoon taught me something about senior strength that I have never forgotten, and it changed how he spent the next 5 years of his life. His name for this story, we will call him Robert. He came to see me on his daughter's insistence. She had noticed him pulling himself up with the railing more than usual. She had seen him hesitate before stepping off a curb. She had watched him stop offering to help carry groceries in from the car. Robert thought she was overreacting. He felt fine. He told me, sitting in my office, that he was as strong as he had always been. Just slowing down a little. Just getting older. I had heard the same words from hundreds of seniors before him, always with the same quiet confidence. Always followed, eventually, by the same 30-second test. So I asked him to stand, 5 times, without his hands, as fast as he safely could. He stood up the first time easily, confident, almost smug. The second time, his face changed. There was a slight pause before he stood. The third time, his thighs visibly trembled. The fourth time, he reached for the armrest before catching himself and forcing his hands back across his chest. The 5th time, he barely made it. He sat down hard. He was breathing heavily. The whole sequence had taken him 27 seconds. For a healthy man his age, the cutoff is 15. I watched the realization move across his face like a slow shadow. He looked at his hands. He looked at the chair. He looked at me. And then he said something I will never forget. He said, "I had no idea. That is the moment I want you to understand." Because Robert had no warning. No falls. No injuries. No pain. No diagnosis. From the outside, he was a healthy, capable 71-year-old retired tradesman. From the inside, his body was telling a different story entirely. And until that 30-second test, he had been able to ignore it. Most seniors can. Until they cannot. Before I tell you what happened next with Robert, I want to pause and ask you something. Because in 20 years of doing this work, I have come to believe that moments of clear, undeniable reality are the most powerful turning points in senior health. Tell me in the comments. Have you ever had a single moment with a doctor or in your own body that scared you enough to actually change course? A test result you could not argue with. A small failure that woke you up. A near miss that finally got your attention. Or are you watching this video because you have a quiet feeling, deep down, that one of those moments is coming for you soon and you would rather see it now than later? There is no wrong answer. I read every comment on these videos. And honestly, your story might be exactly what helps another viewer face their own 30-second test today instead of waiting until something forces it on them. Now let us return to Robert, because what he did with that moment is the part that matters. After the test, I explained to him exactly what we were looking at. His leg muscles were quietly disappearing. The kind of muscle loss that does not show up on a scale, does not announce itself with pain, and does not appear on a typical doctor's visit, because the typical doctor's visit does not test for it. I told him gently that the research is clear. Seniors who take 25 seconds or more to complete this test have a dramatically higher risk of needing a walker, a cane, or significant mobility help within 5 years. Not as a possibility, as a statistical reality. He sat with that for a long time. Then he asked the question I have heard from hundreds of patients in that moment. "Doc, what do I do?" That is the question this video exists to answer. Because here is the truth that Robert did not know. The same 30-second test that predicts decline is also one of the most reliable indicators of recovery. As your muscles rebuild, your chair stand time drops. As your chair stand time drops, your real-world function improves. It is not just a diagnostic test. It is a feedback loop. So I gave Robert the same simple protocol I give every patient in his situation. 3 pieces, no more. First, hit a protein target at every meal. For a man his size, that meant about 35 grams of protein per meal, 3 times a day. Eggs and cottage cheese for breakfast. A real protein at lunch. Meat or fish at dinner. No skipping. Second, train the legs. Specifically, train the move that just exposed him. The chair stand itself. 10 reps in the morning, 10 reps in the afternoon. Slowly at first, then with more control over time. Adding a light dumbbell held against his chest once the basic version became easy. The exact move he had just failed became his daily medicine. Third, talk to his own doctor about getting his vitamin D level checked. Because, as we have covered in earlier videos, low vitamin D directly accelerates muscle loss, and only his personal physician could properly evaluate his individual labs and decide if a supplement was right for him. That was it. Protein, chair stands, vitamin D evaluation. Simple beyond words. Robert went home that day quieter than he had arrived. His daughter would later tell me that he stopped at the grocery store on the way back and bought a dozen eggs, a tub of cottage cheese, and 3 pounds of chicken thighs. He started that night. 8 weeks later, he came back to my office for a follow-up. He stood up from the chair 5 times in a row in 14 seconds, without using his hands, without trembling, without breathing hard at the end. He had pulled himself in 8 weeks from a high-risk zone to a low-risk zone, from a 5-year trajectory toward a walker to a 5-year trajectory toward independence. That is the part of this story I want you to take with you. Robert was lucky in only one way. He had a daughter who insisted. He had a doctor who tested. And he had 30 seconds in his life where his body could not lie to him anymore. Most seniors never get that moment, or they get it too late. By the time they cannot stand from a chair, they have stopped trying. By the time someone notices, the muscle loss is well into the severe stage. By the time the diagnosis is made, the recovery is much, much harder. You are watching this video right now. So you have the moment Robert had, but without needing a daughter or a doctor to give it to you. You can do this test yourself. Tonight, after dinner, or right after you finish this video, sit in a sturdy chair. Cross your arms. Stand up and sit down 5 times in a row as fast as you safely can. Time yourself. Under 12 seconds, your leg strength is in a healthy range for most adults. 12 to 15 seconds, you are entering the warning zone. 15 to 25 seconds, you are showing meaningful muscle loss and the time to act is now. Over 25 seconds, you are in the same zone where Robert was. Without immediate change, the 5-year forecast is hard. Please, before you start any new exercise based on this video, especially if you have heart concerns, joint problems, or balance issues, talk to your own doctor. They can tell you whether the chair stand training is safe for your individual body. Robert's path is not the right path for every senior, and only your physician can clear you for what is right for you. But for the average senior watching this video, who has been telling themselves they are still fine, just slowing down a little, just getting older, this is the test that does not lie. This is the 30 seconds that wakes you up. And if you wake up early enough, you have time to do something about it. Robert is now 76 years old. He still does not use a walker. He still helps carry groceries in from the car. He still drives his grandchildren to school. He still gets up from any chair without using his hands. Because of one 30-second test on an ordinary Tuesday afternoon and one decision made on the drive home from my office. If this video helped you see the value of doing the test yourself, please give it a like. It is a small thing, but it helps me reach more seniors who deserve their own 30-second moment of truth. And if you would like to stay strong, stay mobile, and stay independent for as long as possible, please subscribe to the channel. I post new videos every week, sharing what I have learned in 3 decades of medicine and 20 years specializing in muscle health, so seniors like you do not have to figure this out alone. One last thing. If you know someone over 60 who has been brushing off the small changes, the railing they reach for, the curb they hesitate at, the chair they push themselves out of, please share this video with them. Sometimes the right test at the right time changes everything. Until then, take care of yourself and stay strong. I am Dr. Cecilia Grant.